Up next, live on TMC 105.1, The Best of Us, the show where ideas, creativity, and culture meet what's coming next. And today, we return to what Up Next has always been a space for stories, a space for reflection, a space where things we love are not just enjoyed, but understood. Up Next is more than a show. It is a weekly ritual for the arts, culture, theater, and shared stories that continue to shape who we are. Good afternoon. I am Sarah Henderson. Let's begin. There are stories we inherit long before we ever step into them, and stories we recognize without remembering when we first hear them or heard them. Songs that feel familiar even before we know the lyrics. Characters that somehow live in the air around us, waiting to be played again. Some stories don't belong to a single moment in time. They move, they travel, they are passed on from one generation to the next until they become part of culture itself. And today we are talking about one of those stories, Grease. It's energetic, it's fun, it's iconic. It's the kind of show people recognize almost instantly. The music, the movement, the characters, the world. But what makes Grease worth talking about is not just what it is. It's what happens when it is performed now, because this is no longer just the story as it was. This is the story in the hands of a new generation. And the moment a new generation steps into a story, something changes. Not the script, not the structure, not even the outcome, but the meaning. You see, stories are never experienced the same way twice. They are shaped by the people who tell them and the people who receive them. And today's performers bring with them a different world, a different language, a different awareness, a different way of seeing relationships, identity, and self-expression. So when they step into Grease, they are not simply recreating it. They are engaging with it. And this is where it becomes worth looking at more closely. Grease comes from a specific time, and a time with its own ideas about what it meant to be cool, what it meant to be liked, what it meant to belong. It carried a certain understanding of gender, of image, of romance, and for many years, those ideas were accepted as part of the story, without much question. But today, we do something different. We still enjoy the show, we still celebrate the music, the energy, the performance, but we also look at it with more awareness. We ask better questions. What does it mean for a character to change themselves in order to be accepted? What does it say about how we understand confidence when it is performed through image and reputation? What happens when identity feels like something we have to adjust to fit into the world around us? These are not abstract questions. They are lived experiences. Even now, young people are still navigating the same emotional landscape. The need to belong, the pressure to fit in, the desire to be seen and to be liked. The difference is not in the feeling. The difference is in how we talk about it. So today, there is more space for reflection, more language for identity, more awareness of pressure, of choice, of self-definition. So when students perform a show like Grease, they don't leave that awareness behind. They bring it with them, and that changes everything. Because in today's world, performance is not just about execution. It becomes interpretation. It becomes a conversation between the past and the present, between what was once accepted and what is now being examined. And that does not take away from the story. It deepens it, because we're no longer watching it passively. We are engaging with it. We can enjoy the music and still question the message. We can love the characters and still reflect on their choices. We can perform the story and still ask what it means now. And that balance is what keeps stories alive. Not blind admiration, not immediate rejection, but engagement. Theater allows us to do that in a way few things can because it is live, because it happens in real time, because it places people in front of people, telling a story that exists somewhere between who we are and who we are becoming. For young performers, that space is especially powerful because growing up is also a kind of performance. There are roles we try on, versions of ourselves we present, adjustments we make so we can belong. High school, in particular, is filled with these moments: who we sit with, how we speak, what we wear, who we choose to be, depending on who is watching. In many ways, the world of Greece is not distant at all. It simply speaks in a different language, but the experience is still familiar. And so when these students step onto the stage, they are not just performing a musical from another time. They are navigating something very real: the space between who they are and who they are meant to become. And that is why this conversation matters, because today is not just about Greece. It is about what happens when a generation inherits a story and decides how it will be understood, what they keep, what they question, what they carry forward. I really believe that stories do not stay relevant on their own. They remain alive because someone chooses to engage with them, to step into them, to reflect on them, to make them meaningful again. This is exactly what we are going to hear, not just about the show, but about the experience of bringing it to life from the inside, from the voices of the students who are performing it now. You see, it's one thing to watch a story, but it's another thing to step into it. And this is where the real conversation begins. Up next, the cast of Grease. Maayong hapon kanatong tanan. Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, this is the first time that I actually have I know you're still a small group, but this is a big group for me now. I usually have two guests the most. So I would like to know you here, all of you who are here in the room. So please introduce yourself and tell us what role you're playing in Greece.
Start off with me. Hi everyone, I am Blair H. Suico and I'll be playing the role of Betty Rizzo and Sandra Dombrowski.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Father Ian de los Santos. I'm playing the part of the teen angel in the story or in the play.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Aldwin Alba, a fourth year college seminarian, and I'll be playing the role of Danny Zuko.
Hello, I'm Elisa Napomusano. I am playing the role of Frenchie.
Hello, I'm Hans Arañas, and I'm playing the role of Roger.
Wow, thank you for being here. I mean, I'm so happy to be able to have this conversation with you. And I think one of the things that we have to start in this conversation is who has decided to produce this production of Grease here in Cebu. So maybe, Father, you can enlighten us.
Yeah. Actually, this is my first time knowing that this is also my first time to be the promoter in the San Carlos Seminary College. And I was just asked to play the teen angel on the play. But of course, it was through the effort of Sir Benji Jola, the director of this play, and of course, my very friend, Father Charles Jaime, also able to produce the play. The main idea is always about having to engage the seminarians into this activity, especially the play. Kaya lagi, most likely, we are encouraging them as future ministers of the church themselves. We are encouraging them to find what do you call this? An interest, not just in the play, but perhaps able to establish among themselves that capacity to be well versed, especially in having to, of course, speak towards other people by means of making this play.
I think, Father, it's very interesting. I mean, for me, I believe in theater, so I'm all for it. I'm so happy that the seminary is doing this. But, for so many people, they'd probably be thinking, like, magpari man mo. Ngano mag-theater man mo?
Yeah.
And I think that's the question. I'd like to know, when you were still a student,
Mm-mm.
did you also experience performing in a theatrical production like this?
Yes, I did during my time way back 2000 and I think 2002 until 2005
Wow.
under
Okay.
the leadership of Monsignor Rodi Villanueva.
Wow, Monsignor Rudy.
Yes.
Yes. Wow, you actually had that, I would say, that privilege to have worked with Monsignor Rudy. So siguro, Father, you can tell us, like, why do you think it is relevant, it's important to use theater as a way to engage our students, whether they're in the seminary or outside?
First and foremost, perhaps I would like to believe that we are eventually able to really continue to live the legacy of Monsignor Rudy Villanueva, knowing that Monsignor Rudy Villanueva able also to not just to create songs, no, that gigamit nato sa simbahan even as of today, but it is also a matter of allowing seminarians really nga mo boost up ang ilahang capacity or ilahang ability really of how they are able to make use of the God-given talents, no, nga ilahang taning ipaambit pod ngadto sa uban. More so, gi-encourage pa namo ang mga seminarista to really join, no, display, knowing mao pod ni ang paagi for them to have that self-confidence, especially nga taliabot pod nga panahon they are also be able to address themselves and to perform, and not to perform but to preach and to proclaim the words of God to people as well.
And together with you today, we have two seminarista. So we have Aldwin and Hans. So I think I'd like to start off with the two of you. Obviously, there was an announcement that you're going to have this production. What made you think of auditioning for a role in the play?
I was forced to audition actually.
Forced! The word is forced, okay?
Back
Kinsa may ni force na to?
in July 2025, I think, yeah, Tito Benji already told me to, okay, Aldwin, start preparing your body, build muscles, pag-workout na, and kanang lose some weight daw. No, why? Na siya, kuha na daw, stop cutting your hair, like that. So, yeah, he's already preparing for Greece, and
So
na
he
siya
did not
prospect.
tell you at that time.
Yeah.
So for the information of everyone listening, director Benji Diola, the director of this theatrical production, is one of our most respected directors here in Cebu and had been doing so many musicals and plays here, for decades already. And so you've mentioned July 2025.
July
Wow,
25.
so that's been a long time, no? The
Yeah.
preparation. And you've mentioned about when you mentioned body and all, siguro daghan mangutana, unsa may connection ana, and we're probably just thinking about the physicality of how we look like on stage. But Mona, no, I think we also can agree that theater is like sports, diba?
Yeah.
It's you do a lot of rehearsing for musicals. You sing, you dance. You should be able to dance while you're singing.
Yeah.
And grabe kay ginhawa na atong kinahanglan, di ba? Kinahanglan dili ta mawagtangan og ginhawa. So, with that being forced to now playing the role of the lead, Danny Zuko, do you still still feel forced right now?
After the first week of the play, I started to realize nga, I think they saw a potential in me, Na,
Oh, yes.
ina ba, okay, what's my purpose? Ba?
Mhm.
Why do I have to do this like that? Then right right now, I think yeah, I just realized niya ko yeah, I think they saw nga I can do this like that. So I think right now murag dili na ko forced and I'm actually enjoying it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You know how what they say na when we do theater, like you have to work hard, you have to rehearse, you really have to give your focus, your when you're preparing for the play, so that we can enjoy when we're
Yeah.
already performing it. And so if you're saying that you're already enjoying it, that means all the work's done, and
Yeah.
you performed your first what's this weekend, just
Yeah.
last weekend, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. And how did that feel like?
It's kind of fulfilling.
Mhm.
Yeah, after all those months nga nag among rehearsals.
How many months mo nag-rehearse, Ani?
I think we started January.
January.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say more than 3 months of
Yeah.
preparation. But
Yeah.
for you, you have been hinted last year
Yeah.
pa, but you didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll ask also your classmate ba ni Nato, si Hans.
Hands.
Hans, you're playing the role of Roger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. And tell us more about Roger.
So Roger, as to what I know, Roger is he's the comic relief of the play, because in every tension, say here comes Roger, joking around to like cut off the tensions between Rizzo and Kaniki, or like between Danny and Danny and Sandy. So yeah, that's basically the role of Roger, to like cut off like the tensions between people like
So
that.
you're the breather.
Yeah.
Yes. And so how are you related to Danny in the musical?
All right. So Roger is actually part of the T-Birds. Yeah. So the T-Birds is like the group of friends of like Danny Zuko, and then they are there. They are the cool guys. Basically those old things. The old school
Cool.
boys. Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. And it's nice that you mentioned that, because I guess that's something that I would also like to talk about. So when you mention cool, how do you define cool during the period of Greece,
All
and
right.
compare it to the now?
There's actually similarities between the cool before and the cool now, like that. So like, yeah, basically the cool before is like, having like wearing pomade, like slick backs, and then the mullets and stuff. And then yeah, so that's basically the cool before. And then you have to wear like leather jackets, and then you have to ride big bikes, like that's basically the cool before. Well, the cool now is similar as to what I said a while ago, because yeah, people can do their haircuts. Of course, like as you can see, to the youth today, like likes to go back to how the people like before wear, like the what do we call this one, the yeah
We're reviving.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, the fashion.
reclaiming them.
yeah yeah
Yes, and I think in terms of the fashion and the looks, it's like sometimes you don't know anymore which one is which,
Yeah.
because it seems to just keep coming back.
Mm-mm.
But obviously in Greece there's a lot of sa may tawag na to ana kanang clique, the grouping, no, na I mean you have to belong to a certain group,
Yeah.
and it's literally belonging, and that's the idea. Now obviously we've discussed about the male part of it, so I'd probably like to ask the girls now, how do you fit in to this story of Greece? Maybe we can start with Eliza.
Alyssa.
Alyssa. And tell us more about your role as well.
Okay, so Frenchie is one of the Pink Ladies. The Pink Ladies is essentially, if the T-Birds was Danny's friend group, the Pink Ladies is kind of Rizzo's friend group. So Frenchie, my character, is, I'd like to think of the very supportive friend. I'm very fun-loving and just loving. I love my friends, and Frenchie is the beautician, or wannabe beautician. She really believes in the beauty of everything, sees the beauty in her friends, and really supports that in everything that they do. And for me, Frenchie doesn't have a problem with belonging, in the sense that she feels urge to do things just so she can stay with them. I think she feels that sense of belonging because she loves her friends, as she sees how incredible they are. She values them in her life, and she shows that to them with the hope and with the knowledge that they also give value to her.
Wow, that's a way of seeing the beauty in everything.
Yeah.
Beauty around you and then beauty in people. And I guess there's so many interpretations of Frenchie, and that one that you shared, and I think that's the way you own your character as well, is that's something that I think we would love to practice in current times,
Yeah,
in the
super.
now. So obviously there's you have the T-Bird, the Pink Ladies. Pink Ladies, murag lahi naman ni when we talk about that here in the Philippines. I mean, I think we have different imagination when we mention these things. It's like, obviously, this is produced by the seminary, and then pag mention dayon na yung Pink Ladies, ang Pink Sisters naman hinoon ako na. But anyway, I'd like to go to your role, Blair. And in fact, you've mentioned two roles. This is quite interesting because you mentioned you're playing Betty Rizzo, but at the same time, Sandy Dombrowski.
Very again, hi everyone. To those who are watching, I am Blair Trico. Again, I am playing Betty Rizzo and Sandy Dombrowski, which I'm just gonna say are very two opposites. Like the roles are so opposite at the point like me myself will have a mental crisis identity as to who I am. But yeah, let's talk about first Sandy Dombrowski, the main person. So I play as her understudy. The other one main is Yohani Beltran. Sandy Dombrowski is a girl that's in love with Danny Zuko, who she met on the summer days. And she's the girl that's timid, that's also shy, but at the same time wants to fit in because she's a girl from another town. Then she moved here, so she's trying to fit in, trying to find herself, and being part of a group, especially peer pressure magitawag ana ron sa. And when it comes to my other role, which is Betty Rizzo, she's a legit complete opposite of Sandy Dombrowski. Betty Rizzo is the leader of the Pink Ladies. She is tough. She is very, in other words, bitchy, but at the same time demure. And if you actually think about it, Betty Rizzo, although she has a tough front, she shows it. She also has a vulnerable side. When you think of Betty Rizzo, for me, I really think that Betty Rizzo is a misunderstood character. Although a lot of people can say, maldita kay ni siya, bitchy kay ni siya, di ko ganahanan ni niya. She keeps on terrorizing the love between Danny and Sandy. But no, actually, if you actually think about her background, she is someone who wants to hide herself. She doesn't want anyone to see that she is vulnerable. She wants everyone to see that she's tough. She's flirty, and she's because popular girl. Mo na being a popular girl means hiding yourself and your flaws to other people, especially in high school before. So yeah, that is basically my role. Betty Rizzo and Sandy Dombrowski, complete of the opposites.
But I think one of the things I'd like to clarify, no, and for the audience anyway, you mentioned understudy. Can you explain what that means?
An understudy is basically someone who takes over a role of the main cast if ever the main cast will not be there, or they're hurt or they need rest or something. So that's basically what an understudy is.
And then obviously there are also the unsay tawag na to ani ang alternates. So do we have do your characters have alternates?
I think out of everybody here, aside from Blair, I am the only one with an alternate. So, I'm not an understudy or whatever. There's another girl. Her name is Jillian Gasendo. I love her. One of my closest friends. She plays the other Frenchie, so she has her own interpretation of the character. So some are similar with mine, others are different. Either way, we're both two versions of the same character.
So in other words, Danny and Hans, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so how many shows are we doing in total?
10.
10. That's for the
shows.
2 weekends. And in those 10 shows, we expect you to be there. Wow, that's a lot of work. How has it been last weekend? Hans, how was it for you?
It's actually quite challenging. Yeah, because it's our first week last week. But later on, like right after the last show, like it's a Sunday show, 7 p.m. Like after the last show, it's like a relief for me because I've been playing Roger for like 2 times like in a day. Then yeah. So but it's actually quite fulfilling because it like heals my inner child, like to act in stage. That's actually one of my dreams before, and now like I'm here in front of that dream, and then that's why I told you that it's actually quite fulfilling actually. Yeah.
Do you actually know that that experience that you're having performing 2 shows in a day, and would that be like the whole weekend? That's Friday to
To
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Am I right?
Mm-mm.
That's like that's like the professional schedule. Do you know that?
No.
So, so question ako, do you think that or are you sure? Namangutan na unta ko padre ba?
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Naapakahay mausab ani nila basin mo padayon ni pagka-artista rather than being in the seminary. And there are different
Yeah,
ways
yeah,
of serving God, and if we're serving using our talents,
Mm-mm.
I'm sure it doesn't have to be
I believe before the
inside
show,
church,
Sir-
right?
yeah. I believe before the show, Sir Benji is reminding women or the girls to work professionally.
Kaya mga pariuno ni
Yeah.
sila, no? But I mean, that's really interesting. I think for me, I really like the fact that for an institution like the seminary, actually giving this opportunity, this experience to students, I'm so happy because I believe that there are so many ways that we can serve, and I think that the experience and the skills and the talents that are honed in this production can be used whether you're going to be a priest or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mo na siya. I think na wag tang kadali, no? But let's have a pause and let's read some of the messages the comments that we have here. There's a hello Team Greece. Break a leg. That's from Maria Glenda Suico, of course, one of our hosts here in TMC for Miss, no? Oh, that's your mom, of course, Blair's mom. And okay, daghano kayo nag-comment sa akong hair. Oh my God. So yes, hair comment from your mom. Hi, Glenda. Thank you. Another hair comment from Grant Bacaltos. Another hair comment from Charlene. Unsa naman yun ni Mario? Yes, it's new hair. In fact, the story is that I went to have a treatment, and then they told me that I needed to cut my hair as part of the fee, and that it would have been the same if I didn't cut my hair anyway. So I just wanted a trim. And I think that I wasn't very specific about it. I just pointed around my neck, and then they chose it. In Ana Shakamobo. So that's the story. But I'm very accepting. That's life. I just have to enjoy it, and it seems that you're enjoying as well. Yes. From Grant Bacaltos, yay, Alyssa Nepo. You know Grant.
I
uh,
do.
yeah,
Hi,
so-
Grant.
He's one of our company members at Tuten Cans. Julie Cardena, so many solid upcoming shows in Cebu this year. Maka Maka Air Pub, pero this was only a dream for Cebu 10 years ago. Makapobre kay ang mga tickets ko, no? But I think that we are still very, unsay tawag ani, very reasonable
Yeah.
paman atong mga price, no? But also, maulagi na, when we do productions, it's not easy and it's not cheap. So, yes, please support. Julie,
Yes.
mupalit kag ticket ron sa Greece, di pa na makapobre nimo. So, okay pa ta. And hello, Father Ian Chris Paler from Madame Glenda Rico. If
Hello.
you have questions, all of those who are listening, you want to ask a question to the cast of Grease or anything to do with the production, just leave your comment. And yeah, we'll be happy to have that in the conversation. Oh, naapay ni Apas. Way to go, Elisa. Pagkasikat ba ni Elisa today? That's from Florenda Pardo.
I love you, Ren.
Who is she?
She's a really good friend of mine. We met in school, and now we're really tight.
Oh, so is she like your pink, pink
Yes,
lady?
super. She's like a big sister to me.
Yeah. So thank you so much for those who have dropped the comments. Continue listening. And yes, we are still talking about Greece, and we've just started. We were just in the getting to know you part with the cast who are here at least. No, we have 5. We have Father Ian, Aldwin, Alyssa, Hans, and of course our very own Blair. So I'd like to siguro ask Father, how did you find your talents? Did you hold an audition?
Well, we always have the audition. Way back, if I may still remember, way back 2002, I have my audition, which of course, gitawag naman na siya og a special choir audition.
Choir.
Yeah, a special
Okay.
choir audition during the time of Monsignor Rudy, and it was also, I believe it was Father Benedicto Tao, who is also the assistant of Monsignor Rudy before. Then siya mo yung naghimo na mo sa audition for us to able to, of course, to join specific, of course, Monsignor Rudy's work, in particular that of the play that Monsignor Rudy is also giyang gihimo, no, for the show. In particular, of course, as we come to diha sa amuang enjoying our work or enjoying ourselves, and more likely diha pod mismo sa amuha pod nga, of course, having to involve ourselves in the seminary.
Was it ako siguro Father ba? Kung ano kay nino kanang mga stereotypes ba, mga presumptions. Nata seminaryo, mga nindot kay ni silang tingog. Oh, choir pag yudayon. It's like as if automatically if you're in the seminary, you're in the choir. That's it. How difficult was it to find the right actors for the different characters? I mean, I know that this would have been a question for your director, Director Benji Diola, but I'm sure you're aware of what went on. Ako lang yung gihuna-huna kay si Father. Nagyon ni siya alam being the, being one of the people behind this production. Is it challenging? Is it more of like we have so many talents and just a few roles?
Yeah. Yes.
And how have we rejected? In other words, kay tungod gamay raman ang role. Do we have to say goodbye to some who auditioned and or naka-appeal yun in taon tanan? Nga
I think there are
naka-audition?
some, right? Yeah, there are some who able to audition, but only few has been chosen to take the role of the play.
And I think that's always that, no? And
Yeah.
but for us, we always remind that in times like that, it's nothing to do with your talent. Or it's not only about the talent. There's also the requirement of the character, the and everything about the character. So maybe wala pa naabot ang role nga para nimo. But obviously for you, Aldwin, you got the lead role. In fact, you and Blair, you're doing this. How close are you in terms of personality or whatever? How close or far are you from the role you're playing?
Actually, one of the comments during our last show on Sunday, one of my friends told me nga, "Oh, bagay kini mo ang Danny." I asked her why. Then she told me, "Oh, you're like that in person."
So dili ka, you're not aware?
I'm trying. I was trying to hide that side of mine. Actually,
Okay. So it's a she, no, ang nag-comment.
yeah.
So this person knows you more
Yeah.
than dili na ko. Sige, dili na ta mo sugsog ni almost father Aldwin. So are you enjoying that role?
Yes. Most especially with the dancing, siguro.
The dancing
yeah.
part ang mas enjoy
Yeah,
nimo.
I just kanang murag nakahibaw ko ana nga, oy kabaw di ko masayaw like that.
Tungod lang ani nga
Yeah,
production.
tungod lang sa production.
Wow, so that's a new discovery.
Yeah.
But what's this? Grabe ang requirement also sa singing. So for the
Yeah.
singing part, you were very sure nga you're
Yeah.
able to do it.
Yeah.
So na-discover nimo ang dancing bag-o lang yun, and
bag-o
you're
lang.
enjoying it. So so would you consider yourself now as a triple threat? You can act, you can sing, you can dance.
Siguro.
Grabe sa niyo saya akong pangutana, no, kay kanang mauwaw masamutubag ang tao kay abi pa lang. But I
Yeah.
think that for so many lead actors, I mean, you're doing so well, and I suppose that's why directors cast you because you're doing well with the role. But one thing I've also noticed is always the humility. Ang mga lead roles, no, ang mga maayo kayo mo perform, maayo kayo mo kanta, maayo mo sayaw, mo pa ni sila ka ng magpahilom-hilom, maawawon usahay, no, kanang kung wala sa stage, di ka katuo nga mo perform di ay ni siya. And and I believe there's so many of talents like that, and I'm glad. So you're performing with Blair here.
Yeah,
So it's actually the story, Danny and Sandy.
Sandy.
So how close man ka, Blair, to your character?
Not gonna lie, I'm not really that close to my character. Because when it comes to Sandy, she's elegant. I mean, like, yes, I can embody that, na elegant, but at the same time, she's shy. Nya kita bagamtag naong. She's very timid, which I think this ko kaingon na timid sa jug ko, cause like I'm not just average. If you talk to me like kitsa jud na character na makarelate jud ko, I would say Rizzo jud ko. Rizzo jud ko. Okay, Sandy, actually Sandy is a very difficult role for me to kuan siya, like being two roles. So Rizzo, I don't have any problems with it, but when it comes to Sandy, I'm like, how am I supposed to play her? How am I supposed to make it my own version, but at the same time be quote unquote innocent ng dating, you know? I think makaana jud ko like nara siya sa mid na jud. If I rate it to 1 to 10 of how close I am to my character, I would say a 5.
Wow.
I would say a 5.
So I guess that's something that I'm interested in, because the duality, no, Rizzo and Sandy, giunsa nimo o kanang balance in terms of preparation, because obviously it's it takes time to prepare for a role, and you're not just preparing for one, and you're preparing for two whose characters, they're, we would say, almost like complete opposites, but let's just say they have a different anchors and arcs. And I guess this question is for all of you. I'd like to know the sort of preparation you're doing outside of the actual rehearsal. How did you prepare? And you're still preparing because you're performing this weekend again. How did you prepare for that role? So good tani mo, Hans.
Yes.
Actually, honestly speaking, I have not prepared like the like literally like I mean not in the literal sense but kanang I have not prepared like similarly sa pag-prepare nako sa Mikado before because like the show by the way for our viewers, Mikado is like our previous show last school year. So yeah. So like I have not prepared the same nga like presence of mind nga pag-prepared sa like Mikado sa karon nga Greece because I was so busy with my academics because fourth years like mag-thesis and stuff. And then yeah, but later on kay katong hapit na ang kanang the whole week of rehearsal before 1 week before the play, then dito ko naging na kailangan sag-uhon ako ni kay kanang kailangan kay mauwaw ta sa kanang mga mananaw. So yeah. So after atong a week like the week before the actual play, di pa ko nakatarong og kining practice jud og kining sa akong lines and stuff. But I did not find it very hard because like similar sa role nako sa Mikado last year, it was Coco, and then naa sila kining resemblance ni Roger because they are both the comic relief of the play. So like naka-adjust siya ko dayon. So yeah, wala siya problem to me. So mana siya.
And so that's the preparation. And I think so many experience that, no, having to deal with life outside of theater, meaning for you, your rehearsals and all that. So you have to prioritize. Instead of memorizing or whatever, you have to memorize for your exams. And for professionals, those who are working, it's like they have to prioritize their life at work as well. So I guess it's also a lot of time management. Murag kitang tanan yun, ana. Ni-appeal ko, no? Murag sa ko mo perform. But, all actors really have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, especially knowing, like, how long are your lines, what are the songs you have to memorize, and then usay ang kanta dili ra biya kanta kay napa kay mga harmonies imong i-memorize, and then of course the emotional requirement for each song, and then choreography pag yun kay musical man yun mo, no? So it's quite complicated, but yes, it's nice to know that with your sharing hands pa na having to finally focus. Di na yun ni pwede idugay-dugay, no? So, how about you, Alyssa?
So when I got the role of Frenchie, I was still in school at the start of the year. So I was really busy with, end of school year stuff, my extracurriculars, because I was also involved in sports. So the main thing I did to get into the Frenchie mindset was, because she's like a secretly deep character to me. So I really focused on listening to Beauty School Dropout over and over and over and over again, just to understand what the guardian angel is telling her. Because the guardian angel is, from my understanding, like her subconscious mind telling her what needs to be done. So it's a lot of internal character arcs that I had to understand and really internalize and feel in my own life. So I listened to that on repeat while I was doing my stuff. And then after the year ended, I the biggest thing I did to get into Frenchie, who is a beautician, was to style most of the wigs of the
Ooh.
cast. I'm really proud of that. Like, I was the one who styled all of my wigs, and the wigs of some of the other castmates. And that really got into my pagka, oh, everything is so beautiful, let's make it more beautiful.
Was that your own initiative?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Sir Benj, our director, he gave us our wigs and told us that we had the prerogative to style it however we wanted. So I told my alternate, just leave it to me. I got the wigs. And then I offered to help some of our other castmates with their wigs, and I just really fell in love with styling the wigs.
And so you tried to live your Frenchie character by
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, also every week I did my nails as Frenchie. And this week they're kind of coming off.
Uh-huh.
So I'm preparing to do them this evening for this weekend shows. And that really, I'm really leaning into my pagkakikay.
Are you having fun with that?
Yes, very much so.
I can see.
Yeah.
We can tell, I think.
And yeah, I'm getting into Frenchie now. Like, even just talking about or thinking about it, getting into my pagkakikay, it brings out the Frenchie in me, the Frenchie who is excited and loves everything and everyone.
And you mentioned that you're into sports.
Yes.
So how do you compare? Oh, what kind of sport is it?
Last school year I did softball for varsity, and I also played volleyball.
Oh my God, varsity pag yun.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, I want to ask you, like, what makes theater a sport? If you agree
Yes,
with me
I-
that it's a sport.
I heavily agree with you that it is a sport.
Yes.
It requires the same amount of, fundamentally, aside from all of the skills that you gain and all of the training it requires, fundamentally it requires the same level of discipline, time management, and commitment. You can't just join it for the sake of joining it, or if you're pressured to do it, you're not gonna survive. You need the same level of discipline and time management and commitment in order to stay in it, because it takes a lot, it eats a lot of your life. Your social life will end up, like, the only social life you'll have if you're involved in both or one or the other primarily will be within that circle of sports and theater. It like, it's so physically demanding, but also mentally demanding. If you have to trust yourself in the same way when you play sports, you have to trust that your body will deliver. You have to trust yourself while you're on that stage with the performance pressure. So it's practically on the same level.
And do you, I totally agree with that. Do you? The rest of you?
Yes.
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 Mura man yung mag-ampo kita. Yes. So yeah, and I think that you will only understand it when you experience it.
Yeah.
When you yourself get into it. You know, when they say the discipline, the physical demand. People think that when you do theater, nagsayo-sayo ra mo nga, nagkanta-kanta raman mo. I mean, yes, there's that part of when you're really enjoying it, especially if it's something that you love to do. But behind that, you know, that's the work that people don't see. So, I'd like to ask Aldwin, how did you prepare for Danny?
When I received the role as Danny, my first question was, patay unsaon man ko ni pagsayaw.
Yeah.
Back then, I really don't know nga ana I am capable of dancing day. So Father John, who is our music director, he told me nga since you are sporty, you're athletic, na dancing is like sports ra daw.
Mm-hmm.
Then he told me, think of tennis daw. It's like doing it over and over and over again, smashing the ball over. Then it's like dancing daw. It's the muscle memory. Inana. So, moto, I tried doing it. I danced and danced. I watched YouTube videos. Inana.
Wow.
Then all of my friends were laughing at me kay kiwaw daw kay gumasayaw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sayaw kinonsihal.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Pero ang mga musayang nga konsihal, madaog ba ya?
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, you smashed it.
Yeah.
And so you feel that in the last weekend's performance, wala na ang kinonsihal nga sinayawan.
Yeah. Kung based sa feedback
Yes.
sa akong friends, they told me nga, "Uy, kabaw di ka masayaw." It's like that.
And so
And,
I
yeah.
guess that advice also, of
Yeah.
how to approach it and all that. But Mona, a lot of it is also rehearsals. Magsigitag balik-balik. And as you said, it becomes muscle memory. At the same time, if you love also what you're doing, when we're doing musical theater, it's not always about precision or accuracy. A lot of it is also characterization. And if we see you dancing as Danny, then you've done your part.
Yeah.
So, kani si Father, di sad yun ni nato kanang unsa kay tawag ana kanang we're not letting you not answer this question.
Yeah.
Father, you are the guardian angel, and so you're working with Frenchie
Yeah.
in the musical. So, how was the preparation for you, Father? This is not your first gig.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share with us if you have like the rituals that you do before a show, in Ana.
Yeah. To be honest, at first I was a bit hesitant when Sir Benji asked me to sing the Beauty School Dropout. Actually, it was Father Charles Jaime. Siya mo gihatagan yun sa role, no, to play and to sing the Beautiful Dropout. But Sir Benji and also Father Charles asked me if I can perform and if I can sing the Beauty School Dropout. As I have said, I was a bit hesitant at first, knowing that for 15 years I was not assigned no longer in the seminary. I was assigned in the parish. So perhaps makabaw kita nga wa nagay ingon nga performance dito kay more likely ako na may director kung unsay pabuhat nako sa mga tao and so on. When they requested me to sing, I was a bit hesitant. But of course, I accepted the role. I accepted the challenge, knowing bisan todo medyo nagnatayan na ta kay wala na gyud tay kanta-kanta. And, of course, gawas lang sa videokihan magkanta-kanta gyapon ta. But more likely, when I was given the role, I was able to read the lines. I was able to memorize the lines, and I was able to, of course, familiarize the lyrics and, of course, the tone of the music. But more likely, naipanahon gyud. The moment I also able to memorize things and the words and the lines and of the song, I look at myself in the mirror, having to convince myself what facial expression I will be using for the sake of the song. So most likely mo na siya akong gigamit, and every morning when I walk along with my dog, I keep on memorizing the song. Kay para ako this is the way nga at least I give my time for myself to really memorize the song and to, of course, makahatag jud ko unsay angay para pod sa mao nga song, and maybe perhaps able also to deliver well sa challenge po nga gihatag ni Sir Benji and Father Charles diri nako.
Naka-memorize na sa og apil imong ero ani.
I believe so.
Yes. But I was thinking when you said, when you were asked to do this role, and I was thinking about obedience, but at the same time, I'm thinking also about humility, I think that you working with the students and all, that's also very amiable. For me, that's very admirable. For you to be able to work with the students na kana. Pero kanang taya, saan na dali ra man na nato maayo ang taya, no? Murag kinahanglan na ng gamay ra na nga trabaho, mabalik na gyud na siya dayon sa like new. So, how was it also like working alongside Frenchie and your scenes in the musical?
Well, French is so professional. Of course, she's been into so much play, I guess, and he always nail his character or the character that she herself is playing. Of course, it was just as how many 3 minutes or 3 minutes, yeah, and of
Three
course,
and a half.
yeah, three
Yeah.
minutes. But of course, we also have our back the dancers, right? The
Yeah.
dancers. So aside from Frenchie, we also have our backup dancers with us in the stage. So nindot kayo ang of course the scene, of course just trying to address the prayer of a beauty school dropout,
Mhm.
asking for an angel for her to, of course, mapahinumduman siya kung unsay angay niyang buhaton sa iyang kaugalingon nga kinabuhi after she dropped out from school, and knowing ganahan na lang siyang ma-beautician, pero the angel allowing to remember her nga aside from beauty, knowledge is more important, no, and it is always a matter of having to be challenged to go back to high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Wow. Yes,
I'm-
you'd like to add.
yes, I'm gonna be honest. The very first time Father Ian joined, I'm gonna be for real right now. It was a little awkward for me because I had never met Father before,
Yeah.
and that was like Sir Benj gave us directions to like he had to reach out to me, we had to interact,
Yeah.
and at first it was a little off at first. It was a little off at first, but the more we played it, the more comfortable it felt, and yeah, the more natural it was, and I would really appreciate the like every after the song when we'd go backstage, like I would have Five Father and be like, "Nice job."
Yeah.
And that was like it's a
Yeah.
brief exchange, but it's like it's a good one.
And it's fun. No? And
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's also your way of connecting with
Yeah.
your co-actors.
Yeah.
I would saying you're not seeing him as father, you're seeing him as a co-actor at that
Yes.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Before I listen to you, yes, I'd like to read some of the comments. So here's from Charlene Verlove. I played Sandy once upon a time.
Wow.
Fun
Nice.
Hi,
fact.
Sandy.
This is Charlene. So she's also one of our actors at Tutankamps, Philippines. Fun fact is that I watched that performance. She was still in high school. So, yes. And that was probably the last time I watched a theatrical production of Grease. No? Oh my God. That was decades ago, to be honest. Yes. And yeah, she was Sandy. Saan ni pagbasa? Yohani Marie? Was she the one you
Ate
mentioned?
Honey.
She is actually the Sandy sa Amua. She's the main actually. Yohani. Yeah, go Team Greece, cheering you all on.
And then, of course, we also have from Geo Librando.
Oh,
Yeah,
sir. Yes.
assistant music director.
Oh, okay. That's the person you mentioned earlier?
It's
No.
Father John, the music director.
Oh, lahi
and-
sad si
yeah,
ang Father
Geo
John.
Librando.
Okay. So, this is a nice comment. These kids may not be professional and very experienced actors, but after their experience with Benji, so meaning Benji Diola,
Yeah.
they became better. Benji has a knack on bringing the artist out from these ordinary individuals. I'm proud of these guys. Kudos. And
Sanjeo, thank you.
so when you said these kids, Geo, you meant apil sa si father, no?
I think not. I think not.
And then from K Omega Suarez, Go Grease, my fave musical.
Yay.
And from Luca Doncic, hi Miss Blair, watching here from Norway.
Wow.
Wow.
Norway.
Palit nag ticket so that you can watch Grease here this weekend. Okay, so obviously we'd like to hear from you as well. What did you do to prepare?
Okay, before I actually talk about my preparations, I would like to have a context first. So originally, I was given the role first ni Rizzo. So I had no mind with the preparations, but only when it comes to acting, because this is my first time ever joining a theater. And when I auditioned, I thought it was a singing and dancing, but okay, acting. I really thought the background character did ako makuha as a role, but I got Betty. So I was happy. So when I was at Betty, I had no problems. I just had to memorize the lines. I had to understand her character. And thankfully, when I was small, I keep on watching Grease. And not gonna lie, Rizzo is an iconic character. She's the diva in the movie. So, but eventually, when I had already prepared to be Rizzo with my cast, which is Daphne Bacaltos, hi Ate Daph, kung nagtanaw ka, Father Cha Kaloy, gidool ko niya, and then he asked me to be Sandy, to also be Sandy. I really thought like I had to leave Rizzo, the character, behind and be Sandy only, but I was like, why? I was like, why? And she like, because supposedly Yohani Belchan was supposedly the only Sandy, but due to some of her work schedules, there had to be another Sandy. So okay, I was hesitant at first, but eventually I took the challenge because, of course, Sandy is the main. At the same time, she's a very different character from Rizzo. So as I took the role, not gonna lie, when it comes to acting out, it's like very difficult for me because I had to be a shy type, and when there are times in rehearsals that I had to play Sandy for set A, then Rizzo for set B, I had to reset. I had to do a 360 on my personality and my identity and my acting. But eventually, when it comes to preparation, I just had to rewatch the movies, not only the movies, but also the productions in other plays that were being made, and also the live one. Um, and eventually, I had a knack of it, but kuwangan pa rin ko sa Sandy, but I know I'll get better eventually. When it comes to preparations, the preparations are kind of like pageants. Not gonna lie, when it comes to it, it's kind of like it has the same demand as pageants, the discipline, of course, and as Alyssa has mentioned, and also being different on stage and being showing the people as to how you embody that specific character. So yeah, there were a lot of preparations, but that's why I also joined Two Tins and Can, the workshop, because I was like, okay, which this was suggested by my mom. Yes, yeah.
All access.
Yeah, the all access pass. It's like, okay, because since it was my first time joining a theater, I don't know the basics of it, so I don't really know. I have never had a workshop for it. So I was like, okay, I joined, and then it really actually helped. And then I think there was a one time I asked you, like, what should I do? How can I prepare when especially I have two characters who are like a complete opposite, and then you gave me a suggestion, try to understand their character and what makes them them. So that's what I did, and eventually, I got the hang of it. Kuwangan pa ron, pero I know na pa jay, I can do better pa dyan.
I think that's our usual goal, no, each time. After you perform, you still try to be better.
Yes.
And sometimes being better just means being able to do it the way you did it the last time, in terms of level, in terms of kana siya ang requirement nimo inana, but the thing is with theater, diba, it's always a different experience each time, not just for the actors but also for the audience. No matter how many times you say the line, it's not the same
Yeah.
in every rehearsal or in every show. And it will speak to you differently. If you were to compare it the very first time you read your script, maybe, to even now, when you woke up, you probably thought of something that would add on to your character or to who your character is. So I think your challenge, Blair, it's very clear now, having to work around those two different characters, and I guess a lot of it is really just preparing mentally during rehearsals. But obviously during the show, you're not going to be performing those two roles. It's one at a time. But still, the demand of the preparation before the actual show grabe sa gyud siya. But what would be the challenge for your characters? You know? Maybe tell us. I mean, you've mentioned about dancing, but I think that you're done now with the dancing. I'd like to know about the character itself. Maybe it could be his belief system, the way he is. Yeah, what makes him who he is in Ana, no? The challenge of, and it can even be just the basic thing of like memorizing. Kani, I think mo to ang imo hands. But ato na nang itangtang ang memorizing hands. Let's talk about a different challenge, you know? Yeah.
Uh, siguro one of the kining challenging thing I found very challenging sa role ni Roger is that kining Roger's confidence is way beyond my confidence. Yeah. Why? Because there's this certain scene, I will just tell you, but you have to grab your tickets for you to like unlock. Diba? Yeah,
So
there's
you're going
this
to share, but just enough so
Yeah.
that yeah, you're not going
Yeah.
to spoil it for
So there's this
the rest
certain
of us.
scene nga kaning nakaingon ko nga grabe kaayo kay kining like the dignity of that character is like there nya mura siya mawa ra tungod sa kani nga certain nga action, and then like sa katubi before pa jud like ana ko like sao man ko ni oy dili man ko like parehas ni Roger nga makabuhat to ginani, so like and then nabuhat na ako, so actually that's one of the kining challenging part sa kani, especially nga ako kay seminarian tapos like sa katong nga role ana, and then mo na
So let's just say your role is like far from what is expected from a seminarian.
it's
in
very
ana
far
siya.
it's very far good
In front of
actually.
the crowd. In front of the crowd.
Yeah, especially in front of the crowd.
But what is this teaching you?
This this is teaching me to like boost my confidence. Not tingali. Like
And then
that.
na-boost good siya. I mean, you've done what? You said 5 shows?
Yeah.
Wow, 5 shows, so you have to do that. Is it still? Do you still consider it as a challenge now that you
Alright.
actually performed it?
Right now kay actually meron ako kanang na-internalize na nako si Roger, so like I am actually enjoying what I'm doing na sa kanang nga scene. So, like hearing people laugh, and then could you imagine nga the people there is like yeah, they carry different problems, they carry like different kidding mga problems, but then yeah, challenges in life, but then they came there to the seminary just to watch Grease and just to laugh. So like when I hear people laughing, especially that scene, it's like it's like I'm telling myself nga hala, I fulfilled my goal to make people happy, and then that's like it's a more genuine kidding view on that certain scene. So yeah.
And they said that with comedy, it's I'm saying that because I believe your role is comedic. No? So the challenge there is that not to make your goal to make people laugh, but to allow them to react according to what your role is, and in your end, it's them laughing. Right? And they're
Yes.
not laughing at you. They're laughing at your message. You're laughing at or with you and what your character represents.
Yeah.
Siguro ang ako mura ni siya kanang lisod-lisod no with you being serious ba ni siya, father? Serious ni siya sa seminaryo?
A classmate.
Dili. So dool-dool na gid ni siya sa iyang role sad. Ang classmate. Okay. So it's not really far from his personality. Yeah. Mao na siyang murag mo ana sa Zirko. Okay, so dool-dool siya. And I think that's where it became easy.
Yeah.
no? Because that's probably very natural for you. But for you, for you, Eliza, what do you think makes your role or the way you attack your role natural? Compare knowing who you are as a person. In real life, you're still a kid. Oh my God. You're only 17 and you're
Not
doing
for
all these
long.
roles. Not for long.
Not really.
Happy birthday then.
Thank you.
Is it also in April?
No, next month.
Next month in
Wow.
May. Okay. So, yeah, what do you think you find natural in the way your character acts in the musical?
Well, Frenchie is not that different from me, which I am very grateful for. Like, it's not that difficult for me to embody Frenchie. And I think the most natural part about her for me is how much she loves her friends. Because personally, during all of our rehearsals leading up to the shows, I really feel like I formed a certain kind of love for the girls I play with. And whether or not they feel the same, it's like, okay. But I know that I hold them in very high regard. I really do believe in the value they possess as performers and as people. And I love them off stage, I love them on stage. And I guess I'm just happy as Frenchie, and the happiness comes out as I play her, because it's not just an act anymore.
What makes her different or special from the other roles that you've played?
Okay, so when because I started theater in school, and a lot of the roles I played in school were either antagonists
Oh.
or kanang mga mother figures, because
Mhm.
taas niya busog tingog, so it's always either those two.
So you think you've been like
Kind of type,
typecasted?
yeah, I was kind of
Ah.
typecast in school. And my first time being part of a production outside school was in the Mikado last year at the seminary also. My character was very different from all of those. Her name is Peep Bo. She was the little sister of the two other girls, the lead girl Yum Yum. She was the youngest one. She was very, very kiat.
So that would be the start of like a change from
Yeah.
from your usual school
Yeah.
roles
Yeah.
and all. Mhm.
She was very kiat, and Frenchie is not that playful. She's a lot sweeter and more genuine, and even if she may be just as clueless as Peepbo was, she's still more sincere and doesn't tease the others as much. Aside from Peepbo, I played Queen Iduna in Frozen Junior in Broadway Youth Cebu. So, very different also. I kind of went back to that motherly role there. And it went from being very tame and elegant to fun-loving and bright. So, I guess now Frenchie is the most genuine and brightest, not in the smart way, but bright as in like sunny. She's the sunniest character I've ever played, and she has really become my comfort character for that reason.
Wow. Okay. Well, you were saying that or earlier you were saying that ikaw siguro ang daghang roles nga play, no? But for you, Aldwin, before doing this role, what were the other roles that you have portrayed?
In my first year in the seminary,
Mm-hmm.
I played as Pedro too in Scenes from My Martyrdom. It's the story of Pedro Calungsod and Father Diego de San Vitores.
Why Pedro too?
Pedro too is he is a paisano. A Cebuano also.
But not the.
Not the Pedro Calungsod.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And stranded sa Guam, and he met Pedro there, and they became friends, and he was the witness of the martyrdom. And in my second year, I played the character of Amboy in Tango Criminal.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the story of mga drunkards who ended up being killed. Dad. Yeah.
So ikaw ang
The Amboy is American boy man na siya.
amo
Something
na.
like that,
So
murag
amboy. Okay.
lutaw-lutaw. And sa third year, Mikado,
Mhm.
I played the character of Puba,
Mhm.
the schizo. Yeah.
You have a
Yeah.
wide range of characters
Yeah.
actually, no?
Then this year as
Mhm.
Danny.
So fourth year na ka. So is this
fresh
like the
grad.
last year
In college.
Yeah.
for college for
Yeah.
you? Okay, and this is your lead, the first lead role
Yeah.
that you got. How are you taking that? Lead roles or stories are around you and all. And with Grease, we've seen that story on screen, and that's why some, like you've mentioned earlier, Blair, part of your preparation was actually to watch the film. But like, how did you make it your own? How did you start? How did
Yeah.
you make Danny Zuko your Danny and not the one that we see in
Yeah.
the movies? It's not John Travolta. It's probably not like the production that was created in other places and all. Giunsa man nimo nga aron pagtan-aw namo, we can say that okay, yeah, I get it. This is Danny Zuko according to this production.
Yeah. When I received the role, I tried to reflect na what does Danny Zuko has to do with me? Like unsa mong similarities like that. And yeah, mao to akong friends niingon sila nga pwede nga kana nga side sa imuha nga murag close to girls like that. Mga inana ba? But kana nga life kay I was still outside the seminary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Then
Sige.
that gave me an idea nga like this di ay murag duol ra, murag dili siya lisod, but ang nakapas challenging niya kay the identity of being a seminarian jud like that nga. This is what we are expecting of you nga you are a seminarian, and during rehearsals kay priests are watching, then I'm touching other people's body when we dance like
okay.
that. Murag ang physical connection dyan eh.
So how did you break away from that kanang feeling conscious nga hala si father nagtanaw? Matawag niya ako sa principal's office ani.
Yeah.
Giunsa man nimo pag how were you assured that in fact this is your role and it's a requirement, so you have to fully commit to it?
Yeah, slowly, Father Cha, our director, our producer, he told me nga, don't be a seminarian sad when you're playing on stage like that.
So nakabantay gid sila.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ano siya, be more Danny, be more your character ba inana.
Yeah.
So yeah, mo to murag nakahatag to assurance na ko nga di pa ko ma-regency tungod ana. Dili pa ko nila ma-kick out tungod ana. It's like that, yeah.
Kung baliktad siguro hinoon kung mag-seminarista ka nga sa stage. Murag,
Yeah.
na Okay. So that gave you the assurance, that
Yeah.
talk. And
Yeah.
I think that's very important, no? Especially father
Yeah.
ba na students and all that. There's that certain kana siya, murag you're feeling one is conscious about the
Yeah.
fact that hey, I'm a seminarian,
Yeah.
but I have to carry this role, and the role requires me to dance with women and to
Yeah.
actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So kana siya, and then ang so man na siya tawag murag the threat of the possibility that
Uh.
you'll get into trouble. But you have chosen theater as one of the activities in the seminary. And when you were looking at the materials that you would choose to offer to the audiences here in Cebu, what are your requirements or kana siya, I think?
Requirements.
In terms of the messaging siguro? Like I'm sure that one is it has to be a material nga makaperform ang atong mga
Yeah.
seminarista.
Yeah.
But naa ba tay like kanisha daghan kayo og kanang ladies no girls or women nga kinahanglan i-appeal sa performance. Pero as kaning sa seminary mismo, when you're looking at a theatrical production nga inyong i-produce, naa ba mo'y criteria?
Maybe there is,
Mhm.
but perhaps siguro regardless as to disciplinary measures of the seminarians, regardless as to the formation of the seminarians, of course, wala siguro namo gihapon gilimit nga they are to engage themselves with, of course, with the opposite sex, no? Not because nga seminarista sila nga dili na sila pwede mo hikap. Dili na sila pwede mo engage into the opposite sex, but we are eventually teaching also them, teaching them maybe perhaps professionalism, knowing of course dili kay seminarista sila nga wala na sila feelings, wala na sila emotions, and dili na sila kinahanglan nga mo act, knowing they are to limit themselves because of this certain things. But of course, we are also requiring them to really act professionally in terms of the play.
And you've been doing this the seminary mismo, no? Have been doing this for decades.
Yes.
Mura na ni siya practice, mura na ni siya kanang expectation, no? Kung musud ko seminaryo, na production gyud maka-appeal gyud siguro ko ani. Or I think no, na appeal na siya. But I've seen also a trend nga murag most of the productions that you're doing are musicals.
Yes.
Gyud siya.
Yes.
And of course, happily we can see the singing, the dancing, and it
dancing.
just gives it it's a different experience actually compared to straight play. So murabag ang ako siguro it's like I'm di gud siguro ko mahuman og sulti nga I'm so happy nga ang seminaryo nato ni padayon gyud og buhat or engage in theater, because like for me personally I believe that it really gives discipline. It allows you to experience professionalism, and then really being able to work with other people, because theater is not a one-man thing. You can't do it on your own. And even when you're alone in a scene, the preparation and all that, it's really involving your other characters, co-actors, even the non-acting team. So murag maayo kaayo nga mupadayon gyud gihapon tag-inani. So murag actually wow kahiba, or I wasn't aware nga we're having this every year. But listening to you now, it's like, oh yeah, bitaw, no? Nakadungog ko sa Mikado, nakadungog ko inana nga productions. And I guess it's very important to let more people know that this is actually happening. This is something that we can look forward to every year. So kung mahumanta karon April man di ay ta,
Mm-mm.
no, for this year. So we can look forward to another production. If not later in the year, then next year. Nasad
Yeah.
from you. So Mona, how do non-seminarians audition when there are productions like this? Is it more like a word of mouth, or are you like really announcing it, opening it to the public when auditions are being held?
Yes. We make use also of the social media, especially on the of our account in the seminary. So we publish it, and somehow along with the seminarians who are engaged or able to engage themselves in the play or in the show, they themselves also are, of course, able to tell others with regards to the audition.
So there's no limitation in terms of association, no? It's like it's really open. It's not like, okay, kinahanglan mga igsoon ra sa atong mga seminarista,
No.
kinahanglan mga kaila ra sa atong mga pare. So it's really open
Yeah.
to the public. And I think there would be more people who are interested, because we have many productions happening in Cebu, but there's not enough wherein people can go and audition. And sometimes these are the only opportunities na, people can try to really get into theater.
Yeah.
And Mona, I'm so happy that this is happening here in Cebu. For every one of you who are listening, this is up next here at TMC 105.1. And we are actually talking to some of the cast members of Grease, the musical. Yes, they are performing here in Cebu City, Philippines. And you still have time to go and watch, because although the first weekend nahuman na, which was last weekend, they're still having their second and last weekend of performances. That's a total of 5 performances this coming Friday.
Friday.
Oh my God, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday,
Friday.
Saturday, and Sunday. Napatay tickets, ani? Basi nas...
We
Naapa?
still have tickets.
Okay, mura gamay-gamay na lang yun ni nabilin. Yeah, maybe before we continue with this conversation, let's invite our listeners to watch the play and maybe inform them where we can get tickets. Father.
Yeah, we are inviting all for the upcoming shows to come. That will start tomorrow, Friday, April 23rd, until April 26th. We have a matinee show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tickets are at 200 pesos, while the gala show will start at 7 o'clock in the evening, with the tickets 500 pesos each. So tickets are still available in the San Carlos Seminary College office. And of course, you can eventually able to look at the page of the seminary for you to be able to contact if you want to do reservations of the tickets.
Did you share which page, Father?
The San Carlos Seminary College.
And that's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who are listening, and if you want to watch, please message the page of the San Carlos Seminary College. Yes, I'm sure that there are not many tickets left. So go and take this opportunity to watch Grease. It doesn't happen, regularly. It's not often that we can watch one of our iconic musicals of all time. So we are still having this conversation, trying to understand well our actors' preparations, how they have or how they're seeing their characters. And I think we are now going towards the different messages that the musical actually has. So let's start off with the end, not the beginning, the end. So in the end, when Sandy decided to, let's just say, have that transformation, let's talk about that. What does that transformation mean for you as Blair, you know, taking that story in right now and in this time in 2026, and what do you think that meant for Sandy in the character?
I think Sandy's transformation meant a lot to her because before, when I was watching, I thought, oh, she transformed herself because she wants to be with Danny, and she doesn't. But also personally for me, if I were Sandy, I was like, I can't always be stuck in the same thing that I do all the time, like the transition, and I want to start something new. I want to be something, or not like be something that that's new, but at the same time something that doesn't depicts or like differentiate you from you yourself, because you also have to still be yourself, but it's like the concept of trying new is more focused on Sandy's transformation. That's actually for me lang jud.
And I think Mona siya, I think that's one of the biggest question, like when she transformed, when she changed herself into this new Sandy, what was that about? And I think we'd like to discuss that as the now, not as the Sandy in the time of Greece, no? Ano din sila? In the late 1900s, or in the late 1900s. But yeah, I think I'd like to discuss that. You're saying that, you know, the way you see it, it was not her changing for a man, you know? So she's changing for herself. And how do we navigate with that messaging wherein you can actually choose to be different and new than who people were used to, but still feel empowered? Our Frenchie, Alyssa.
So, Sandy's transformation, I think, really makes sense when you pay attention to her behavior from the start. So, at first, when I introduce her character to everybody else, she is very timid, like Blair said. And then when she meets Danny again for the first time, he kind of switches up on her, and she's confused, but she doesn't push anything. She's meek and very paana ba? Yeah, yes, closed off. And later on, as people treat her accordingly, like people, Rizzo is mean to her, Danny kind of brushes her off. She slowly she doesn't take it anymore until the end when she asks Frenchie to help her transform. She's finally had enough of all of that treatment, and she really discovers the worth that she has inside her. And I'm gonna go back to what I said about Frenchie's whole way of viewing life, is that everybody is beautiful inside. Frenchie recognizes the beauty in everyone, and she recognized the beauty in Sandy that was being trampled on by people who took advantage of her. And when Sandy finally acknowledges that beauty inside her, I'm so happy. Frenchie is so happy to help her bring it out into the new, but really just the Sandy who demands respect.
So I think it's also a lot of standing up to, let's just say, the bullies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's like I'm tired of being treated this way.
Yeah.
And I'm showing you that, yes, one, I am beautiful.
Yeah.
Two, I am strong. Three, I'm able to choose. And in the end, this is what she chose. She chose to be the new, strong, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to make this clear in the way that we perform Grease now, because people will always go back to that ending and see the other side, which is weakness and submission, and like, oh, the idea of, oh, girls always have to adjust to what the men want in order for them to be accepted and loved. And it's nice that you're able to share this, because actually that was not what was happening. Well, according to how you're interpreting it, it's actually her choosing herself and giving in to the idea that for this to happen, she has to do both inner and outer
Yeah.
transformation. I think for the boys, let's ask the boys, no? Apil na lang sad ka, father. Ako siguro question is, in the musical, what do you think your character could have done better?
I think for Danny is kanang living life authentically, Jud. Like, it's all about his identity being in the T-Birds. And yeah, pa-cool. Girls will follow them. Girls will look up to them. Then, and here's Danny who's in love with Sandy. Yeah. Every time he make love with Sandy kay kanang his friends will like kanang interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, hey, a reminder, you are a T-Bird. You're supposed to be cool. It's like that. And in the end, si Danny chose to kanang follow what's in his heart, to live authentically, to live who he really is, inana ba?
But living authentically is, let's just say, a recent concept. You know,
Yeah.
I think growing up, maybe more or on our time, siguro, father, not
Yeah.
yours. But I'm sure it's still present, no?
Yeah.
Growing up, you are trained to think about reputation, what people think about you. And so being authentic might not be the best way to go about living, because when you show your true self, it may not be what others expected of you, you know, and or it's not what is required of you. So we're talking about living authentically here, especially with in the role of Danny, in the present time of 2026. What do you think that means? Mura na gyud ning pageant bitaw gyud, no? Q&A. Yes. But yeah, like, what do you think that means? Kana authentically,
Yeah.
you know.
So, especially youth sa among age,
Mhm.
kay we are kanang kuan jud, we are shaped by kanang what social media is telling.
Mhm.
Na ana, you should be like this, you should be like that. Mao ni ang trend karon.
Mo ni ang cool
Mao ni ang
karon.
cool, mao ni
Yes.
ang trend karon, dapat mosunod tani. But it's not what's in your heart ba.
Mhm.
Like, you're just following the kanang what other people are doing. It's like that. Nga murag kuyog ay, it's like bandwagon mga inana gani.
Yes. Oo.
Then living authentically is following what's in your heart jud nga. Ay, it's okay if they hate me nga inani, like I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm just
Mhm.
doing what kanang maginana. But as long as kanang you're doing what is right, okay. I think that's what living authentically means sa karon nga context, especially sa amo ang generation.
Yes, and
Yeah.
the generation is, by the way, 23 years old. 23 years old. Yeah, is that okay? I'll mention your
Yeah.
age, no? So Blair, you are 18 years old. Alyssa, you are 17. And both, hala, oy, nag-andi naman ko. Aldwin and Hans are 23 years old, your
Yeah.
classmates. Okay,
Yeah.
accepted si father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No need to
Yeah.
mention.
No need to mention. But I think that it's nice to know that at your age you're already considering this. You're already thinking about it. And I think a lot of the scenes, in Greece actually show their pressure, peer pressure, of course. That's the trying to fit in, being cool, trying to understand what cool means, and all that, and then being someone siya rejected or excluded if you do not conform with what a particular clique or group wants you to do or requires of you. In ani, no? And I wonder, is this still happening right now? Is this actually happening in schools, in communities? I mean, we'd like to say nga we're becoming more inclusive, more accepting, kana siya. But one of the places where you actually experience pressure and even bullying is in schools, kana siya.
Yeah.
So let's start with you, Hans.
All right, so uh before I answer that, like I'd also like to like share like the message, probably tingali kining message
Yes,
kang
please.
Roger.
Mhm.
Like Roger, so opposite sa kang kining Danny, like kang Danny kay he wants to like live authentically. Then Roger is like, since he is the comic relief of the group, he is like that because he wanted to like, it's like the principle of friendship above all. It's like that. The principle of Roger nga, Gani, buhato ni nako para kaning magmustira ang kanang group. Like, inana ba? So, like, inana ang kuan, ang kining importance sa kining, siguro mo na ang lesson nga makuha nato ni Roger. And at the same time, ang also nga makuha pud nato sa kining, sa character ni Roger is that kining, ang ilahang pong respect towards ni Danny, kay at the end of the kidding play, kay they respected Danny. Danny wants to be like this, and then so be it. It's like that. So it's not about siguro usa ka message for everyone. It's not about how like your friends tell you to do this and to do that, but true friendship is like respecting one another's perspectives and especially their views in life. So, mo na ang message ni Roger. And to answer the question that was given to me a while ago, yeah, there are, of course, we cannot deny the fact nga there are like that even way before, even the time of like Danny and Sandy. Like until now, it's still relevant nga there are certain groups nga kining that would somewhat bully us, something like that. But again, we also have to remind ourselves nga to like throw away the negativity, but like to use that negativity in order for us to like boost ourselves. It's like that. So yeah.
I can say with a definite yes that it's very relevant. Um, I feel very that whole theme of peer pressure feels very personal to me. Last year especially, I peer pressure kasi it's like you don't you don't notice it. You don't notice that you've changed until you like take a step back and look at the big picture, and that's when you realize that wow, that was not me. I felt that especially last year, and I was part of a group, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was such a bitch last year. So sorry. I don't know if it's okay to say that, but I really wasn't myself for the sake of,
Authenticity.
yeah,
Mhm.
I wasn't being true to my ideals because that was the only way I could be friends with people. And I only realized that I was being pressured into that circle when I was like suddenly removed from that circle. I was uh, isolated from that negativity. And in that isolation, I learned to go back to who I was, to find myself again, and find the friends who are genuinely happy for me, friends that genuinely enable that kind of happiness and growth. And that's what it's about. That's what the peer pressure is all about. It's wanting to connect with people. And when you try to force that connection, it really leads to a bunch of the conflict that happens in Greece. So it's very, very important to like stop trying to force a connection with people you don't click with, and be true to what makes you happy, be true to people who make you happy, and that's it for me.
Very nice sharing. Thank you for sharing that. And we don't have much time, but still want to squeeze in some questions actually. Maybe before we go to my last question, before pa sa last question. So this is not the last question. Maybe for you, Aldwin, by portraying this role, no, and being part of Greece, what have you learned, and what lesson do you want to share with the listeners? Seminarista na kainin na reflection.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
reflection. Yes.
I think kanang just find meaning in your experiences jud in life. It's like kanang what does this experience speak sa ako maginana ba? And just live. Gaya nga. Just live as long as you're doing the right thing. As long as kanang you're doing what's in your heart. Gaya nga, without the peer pressure, without the pressure of your kanang unsa pa na diha, ang mga people nga naglook up nimo, especially sa amoa mga seminarians nga we are expected to people expect nga magpari mo, it's like that, but then sa amo ang heart kay dili pa man, lisod pa
Nangandam pa mo.
nangandam pa, may di pa mi sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's okay, just live. Ba? Don't stop learning, don't stop living. I think that's the message nga akong makuha sa Greece.
And that's great. I think for those of you who are planning to experience Greece here in Cebu, this is your opportunity. This is your chance, no? And you've listened to some of our actors. Yeah, I hope that makes you even more excited to be part of this theatrical experience. So, Father, I would like to ask you to invite once again our listeners and maybe tell them what you wish for them to experience this weekend.
Well, once again, I would like to invite every one of you who are listening and who are viewing the Grease. No, tomorrow we will have still our matinee show at 2 p.m. and the gala at 7 p.m. Tickets are still available in San Carlos Seminary office. So tickets are sold for 200 pesos for the matinee and 500 pesos for the gala. So nindot lang. It is indeed a once in a lifetime, no, nga makakita na pud ta ining maong play, going back to, of course, sa days nga murag naa pa ang mga kilig moments sa atong kinabuhi, but more likely along the way makita pud nato nga it is not about staying becoming a person, or of course, no, nga dili lang kay unsay expectation sa tao nato, but it is always about how we're able to grow ourselves and how we're able to really become mature as we come and as we make decisions in life also, especially in love, no? Kay nindot kay na siya nga makita nato nga ang gugma dili lang day niingon nga basta-basta, but it also requires discipline, it also requires commitment, and it also requires openness, and of course readiness among of course young people who eventually want to experience or want to indulge themselves into a relationship.
Thank you, Kai Father. So, listening to all of you, it's clear that this experience goes beyond just performing our role. So, you're not just telling a story, but you're learning something about yourselves while doing it. And I believe that that's what makes theater so powerful. It doesn't just ask you to become someone else, but it brings you closer to understanding who you are. So, this time, I'd like to ask all of you this. What is up next?
Well, after the show, I'm still a first year college student, so I believe what's up next for me is that I will be focusing on my academics. I want to focus on that, and of course, focusing on TMC and going around with my mom, and possibly joining in pageants, and maybe, just maybe, joining in theater productions and continuing. Oh.
What's next? Like after the play, I am going to pursue my further studies. Yeah, I'm going to pursue my another degree, like for the theology department, in order for me to like really get that dream of mine of becoming a priest someday. Thank you.
After Greece, I will be training with the Siddhartha Musical Theater Training Program. So I will be doing that while preparing for college.
What's next after Greece is I don't know. So I've decided to not continue my seminary formation as of the moment. So maybe I will try to join another productions
Wow.
outside. Yeah, thank you.
Well, after Greece, it will be a surprise. So we never really know what will happen next, but we are hopeful and hoping that the seminary will continue to have this kind of play or this kind of musical, of course, theater thing, no? For us to really relive and to really give a due honor to the late Monsignor Rudy Villanueva, who really started this course, no, kining ang mga events in the seminary. So we are so proud nga during my time I was being taught, I was being mentored by Monsignor Rudy himself. So nindot lang even up to today gipadayon gyapon siya nga mao nga mga play inside the seminary. So again, as I have said, it is a surprise after this one, but rest assured that we can do more than this.
And we look forward to that surprise.
Yes.
And there is something powerful about watching a story continue to live long after the time that created it has passed. So today we spoke about Greece, about the music, the characters, the energy, the world it builds. But more than that, we witnessed something else. We witnessed what happens when a new generation takes hold of a story and decides how it will live again. Stories do not survive simply because they are remembered. They survive because they are performed, reinterpreted, and because someone at some point chooses to step into them and say, this still matters. And what we heard today makes one thing very clear. This generation is not afraid to engage, not passively, not blindly, but thoughtfully, with awareness and with instinct, with a sense of self that is still forming but already asking the right questions. They understand the joy of the show. They feel the rhythm, the movement, the excitement of stepping onto a stage. But they also recognize that what they are performing carries meaning, that it reflects ideas, values, expectations. And instead of turning away from that, they lean into it. They ask, what still feels true? What no longer does? And what do we do with that? So this is not just performance. This is ownership. And there is something deeply reassuring about that. It tells us that culture is not static. It does not remain untouched, preserved behind glass, protected from change. It moves. It responds. It evolves through the people who carry it forward. And today, we heard from those people, young performers who are stepping into roles that existed before them and bringing with them their own understanding of the world, their own questions, their own boundaries, their own sense of what feels honest, and that matters because every generation is given stories, but not every generation chooses to examine them. Not every generation takes the time to ask what those stories are saying and whether they still reflect who we are now. This one does. Greece. And that is where the hope is, not in perfection, not in having all the answers, but in the willingness to look at something familiar and see it clearly, to enjoy it and still think about it, to perform it and still question it. That balance is what keeps culture alive. It's not blind admiration. It's not immediate rejection. It's engagement. And theater, perhaps more than any art form, demands that kind of engagement because it is live. It happens in real time. It requires presence from those on stage and those watching. And in that shared space, something happens. A story that once belonged to another time is experienced again in this one. And it never exactly is the same. People telling it are different. People receiving it are different. World around it has changed. And so the meaning shifts. Not completely, not all at once, but enough to matter. And that is what we heard today. Not just a musical being performed, but a story being held up, examined, felt, understood by a generation that is still in the process of defining itself. And in doing so, they are also defining what comes next. This does not end with Grease. It does not end with one production, one cast, one stage. These young performers will move on to other roles, other stories, other spaces, and they will carry with them what they have learned here, not just about timing or movement or projection, but about interpretation, about responsibility, about the fact that when you step into a role, you are not only telling a story, you're shaping how that story is received. And that is a kind of influence, a quiet one, but lasting. So as we close, we do not just celebrate the show, we acknowledge the work, the thinking, the awareness, the willingness to engage with something bigger than themselves, because that is what makes this meaningful. Not just that the story continues, but that it continues with intention. And perhaps that is what we should carry with us. Not just the songs or the characters, but the reminder that we are all in some way participants in the stories we inherit. We do not simply receive them, we respond to them. So to the cast of Grease, our guests, Blair, Aldwin, Alyssa, Hans, and Father Chris, thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty, for your insight, and for the way you have approached your roles with both heart and thought. And to everyone listening, this has been Up Next, a weekly ritual for the arts, culture, theater, and shared stories that continue to shape who we are. I am Sarah Henderson, If you're ready for what's next, you already know where to find us, and know that stories do not end here. They never do. They simply move forward into the next voice, the next stage, the next telling. And the next is already on its way.